Hello and welcome back. And of course, if you're new to this channel, welcome. In this video, I'm going to share with you this common theme that I learned while researching werewolves, which is the legend of the werewolf strap. So stay tuned. As I was doing research into the idea of werewolves, I came across a series of stories which included something that was commonly called a werewolf strap. And I found these stories rather interesting, and I think that the reason is because even if it was called something different, like a vest or something other than a strap, it still contains the same idea. And that is that the person in possession of the werewolf strap had made a deal with the devil to obtain the powers that lies within the strap. The legend goes that the person who is in possession of the strap uses this to place it around them, and once the strap is placed around the person who possesses it, they are instantly turned into a wolf or some other kind of monstrous beast who is basically embodying the devil himself in the beast's actions. These beasts are known to roam around and mutilate livestock, as well as to scare people, as well as to chase them down and to kill them. So this werewolf strap is actually very creepy, and it also turns out that if you take the strap away from its owner, the strap has been known to completely disappear. So no one really knows if the legend of the werewolf strap is a true story or not, but it is a very spooky story indeed. It is also interesting to note that many of the stories of werewolf sightings and werewolf myths and legends come from Germany or other countries around there. So I found that interesting too. But this first story that I want to share with you is the story of the Klein Krams werewolf. In 1879, Karl Bartisch wrote that in the vicinity of Klein Krams, near Ludwigshurst, Germany, there existed in earlier centuries huge woods that were so rich with game, hunters and dukes from all around would gather to have what they would call a great hunt. They would usually encounter a large wolf during these big hunts, and even though the wolf would be very close to them in distance, the huntsmen would never be able to kill it. It would always end up just running off into the direction of the village. So Bartisch just continued that on occasion, hussars, which are kind of like, I guess those would be soldiers from Ludwigshurst, would make their way through the village. And at one time, one of these soldier-type men was looking to meet with a man named Feig. So, when this unnamed hussar or soldier arrived at the home of the man he was looking for, to the home of Feig, he had actually ran into far more than I think he bargained for. So I'm going to share with you the story that he wrote from the monster book, which I've shared in previous videos. So I'm going to read that to you now. When he entered the house, a flock of children stormed out of the house with a loud cry and hurried out into the yard. When he asked them about their wild behavior, they told him that except for a small boy, no one from the Feig family was at home, and that he, as was his custom when no one was at home, had transformed himself into a werewolf, and that they were running away from him because otherwise he would bite them. Soon afterwards, Bardish continued, the much-feared wolf boy appeared, but by now he was back into his human form. The hussar demanded that the child tell him what manner of devilry was afoot in the village. Although the boy was initially reluctant to say anything at all, he finally relented. In Bardish's words, the child told him that his grandmother had a strap, and that if he put it on, he would instantly become a wolf. The hussar kindly asked the boy to make an appearance as said werewolf. At first the boy refused, but finally he agreed to do it, as if the strange man would, but first the strange man would climb into the loft so that he would be safe from the werewolf. The hussar agreed to this, and so, to be sure, he pulled up the ladder with which he had climbed into the loft. By Bardish's account, the incredible transformation from boy to monster had happened quickly. As soon as it happened, the boy ran into the main room and soon came out again as a young wolf and chased away all those who were standing in the entryway. After the wolf had run back into the main room and come back out as a boy, the hussar climbed down and had the Feig child show him the magic belt, but he could not discover anything unusual about it. In no time at all, the astonished and concerned hussar went to a forester in the vicinity of Klein Krams and told him what he had experienced in the Feig house. On listening to the tale, the forester, who had always been present at the great hunts near Klein Krams, immediately thought about the werewolf who could not be wounded. He now thought that he would be able to kill the werewolf. At the very next hunt, the forester told his friends, as he carefully inserted a silver bullet into the barrel of his rifle, "Today, the werewolf will not escape from me." His concerned friends looked on in silence. According to Bardish, the hunt soon began, and it did not take long before the wolf showed himself once again. Many of the huntsmen shot at him, but he remained unwounded. Finally, he approached the forester, who brought him to the ground. Everyone could see that the wolf was wounded, but soon he jumped up again and ran into the village. The huntsmen followed him, but the werewolf outran them and disappeared into the Feig farmyard. There was, however, an unforeseen ending to the strange saga of shapeshifting in Germany of centuries past. The werewolf killed by the forester was not the young Feig boy, after all. Bardish reveals the twist in the story, and that is that in their search, the huntsmen came to the house where they found the wolf in the grandmother's bed. They recognized it from the tail which was sticking out from under the covers. The werewolf was no one other than Feig's grandmother. In her pain, she had forgotten to take off the strap, and thus she herself was the one who revealed the secret. F. Asmus and O. Noop actually wrote about using a device called a werewolf strap. And when they wrote about it, they said that by putting on the strap, they would turn into a werewolf. And then if anyone called them by their actual human name, they would immediately turn back into their human form. Now, as for what exactly this strap was, they stated that it was a gift from the devil. So I'm going to share some of what they wrote about this werewolf strap. They stated, a person who possesses such a strap could not get rid of it, however much he wanted to. Anyone who accepted a wolf strap also had entered into brotherhood with the devil, surrendering body and soul to him. If real wolves were feared in earlier times, werewolves were feared all the more. A real wolf could be shot dead or lured into a so-called wolf pit where it would perish from hunger. However, a werewolf could not be brought down with a rifle bullet, nor would it ever fall into a wolf pit. Asmus and Noop put this question to their readers. What is the use of running around as a werewolf? It was indeed a good question. The pair answered it themselves. This was not done for no good reason. When the pantries and meat containers were empty, one would only have to fasten on the wolf strap, run off as a wolf, seek out a fat sheep that was wandering off towards the edge of the woods, creep towards it, seize it, and drag it into the woods. In the evening, one could bring it home without anyone noticing, or the werewolf would know when a peasant was going through the woods with a lot of money. He would ambush him, rob him, and then run off across the field with the booty. In earlier times, the pair expanded, and after the horses had been unhitched from a wagon or a plow, they would be driven out to a community pasture where they would be watched until morning by two herdsmen. Even colts were put out for the night. People took turns watching after them. There was a very good reason for that. The fear the horses would become the victims of the deadly werewolves in their midst. So that's a creepy story about the wolf strap. But either way, there were many kind of stories about that in Germany and just kind of around Europe. And the wolf strap, like I stated earlier, always included a deal with the devil, just like that story said. So anyway, what do you guys think about that legend of the wolf strap? Was that a creepy legend or what? Do you believe in werewolves or deals with the devil? Let us know in the comments down below. But be sure to not make any deals with the devil if that is something that you believe in. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.